Bianca Belair has broken her silence regarding Jade Cargill's WWE return. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what she had to say, and I'm also going to tell you some interesting comments made by Jade Cargill coming out of Elimination Chamber, because it was a big deal, and it is a big deal. Look, Elimination Chamber will be remembered in a lot of ways for John Cena's heel turn, returns of Jade Cargill and Randy Orton. With Jade Cargill, it's very interesting because it splits her and Bianca up. And I don't think it's necessarily in the way of like, all right, these two are going to feud. So look, Jade Cargill, she returned at the very beginning of the Women's Elimination Chamber match. And it was Liv Morgan and Naomi starting off that match. Bianca Belair was in the pod. And of course, this match was designed to determine a new number one contender and find out the challenger for Rhea Ripley's Women's World Championship at WrestleMania. Now, we all know that Bianca Belair won. She was a heavy favorite going into it, and we had suspected that she was going to do so. She was obviously the top favorite to win the match, and they had booked Bianca Belair and Naomi to drop the women's tag team titles to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez on the Monday Night Raw before them. So it kind of set the stage, and we knew Jade was coming back. Fast forward, Elimination Chamber. Obviously, Jade Cargill's music hits. She walks out to the ring. She beelines it. Liv Morgan does an absolute banger of a job selling. And it makes you seem like, Jade is going to go after Liv. In fact, she goes after Naomi. Absolutely destroys this woman. Bianca Belair sells it perfectly as well. She's in the pod. She's screaming. She's crying. She's just heartbroken about it. She's heartbroken that Naomi got laid out. She lost an opportunity to go to WrestleMania and challenge for a women's world title. She's heartbroken because she saw Jade Cargill, one of her best friends, attack one of her other best friends in Naomi. Clearly, Jade thinks that Naomi is behind the mystery attacker angle that they did back in November. November, y'all. I'll get to Triple H's comments about that. Now, look, coming out of this show, Jade has given her side and Bianca has given her side. And obviously this will play out on WWE television, I assume. Jade Cargill will give her notice on Friday's episode of SmackDown. Naomi should be off the television for a few weeks. Now, after Elimination Chamber went off the air, Bianca Belair was on, I think, the post show and was asked. She said, I'm so confused. Honestly, I was very confused. I feel like I still need answers for that. I didn't understand what was happening. Naomi and we were very sure that Liv did that, and Naomi pushed to me that Liv and Raquel did that. But when I got back from my match, Naomi wasn't there because she was stretchered out, and Jade wasn't there. So I feel like I need to talk to both of them before I jump to conclusions. Now, I'm not really understanding what's happening. I really don't believe that Jade would watch me team up with Naomi knowing that she did that. I truly don't believe that Naomi would do something like that. I've known that for a very long time. I don't know. Tonight was just very bittersweet. I'm going to try to focus on WrestleMania, but very bittersweet. So she kind of went back and forth, right? Like once she said, well, I need to talk to Jade and I need to talk to Naomi. And now I'm just going to focus on WrestleMania. So I think she didn't know how to answer that because these are non-scripted. They are not done in they're done in kayfabe, but they're not scripted. So they just say what's ever on their minds. I think, and I said this coming out of Elimination Chamber, I said this going into Elimination Chamber, I anticipated that Bianca Belair would go to Monday Night Raw, she would focus on Rhea Ripley, and that would get her away from Naomi and get her away from Jade Cargill, and A, not have her feud with one of those two, and B, it would separate Jade and Bianca without doing a match because they want to save that for the right time and place, and I still anticipate them doing that. Now, in regards to Jade, she had taken to social media and she posted a video and she very cryptically said, there are wolves in the shape of women all around me. I can see the way they look into my eyes. I'm not one of them and they're not me. I weathered every storm that was meant to break me. I will not strike myself for anyone. Don't mistake my grace for weakness. I've played by the rules long enough, and now it's time for mine. I am one of one. I am that B. So that was, look, she got Startman Jones to direct it. Robert Peake filmed it. Very, very well done. credit to her for going out there and doing it. I assume she paid out of her own pocket to get that done. Either way, very good job. Now, I was critical of WWE and Triple H coming out of the show. You can go on the main channel and check out that video. Because it does not make, it's titled Something Doesn't Make Sense About Jade Cargill's Return, and I'll tell you what doesn't make sense. We had heard coming out of the November attack that Jade Cargill was going to be on the sidelines for at least 3 months. There were multiple reports stating that she was on the internal injury roster list. They do not kayfabe that. Okay, so if you're on that list, you're legitimately injured and or inactive. Now, there was a report stating that it was all part of an angle and she was spined. And months and months and months went by. And she trained at the Performance Center for over a month. The same outlet stated that, well, she was trying to get back into ring shape. Well, you don't need a month and a half to get back into ring shape if you've only been out for 3 months, right? Like, come on now. Something doesn't add up. And Triple H basically confirmed it, talking about how when we first did this, we didn't know how we were going to pay it off, and we didn't know how long Jade was going to be out. Okay? And it was a kick the can down the road type of situation. That was a direct quote. And I was very critical of WWE, and I was very critical of Triple H, and the reason that I was is because you do not book something of this magnitude with the star power of Jade Cargill and not have an ending. And this is nothing new, by the way. They do this a lot. Most notably, it was Steve Austin. Remember that? He got ran over by a car at Survivor Series. They didn't have a payoff. We'll figure it out when he comes back. And we get the whole Rikishi thing, right? I did it for The Rock. Yeah, remember that? So, like, WWE, pro wrestling in general, they're very, very weird in that regard. Like, they'll just do angles and it's like, well, we'll figure it out. And then the time comes, it's like, you know what? We really don't have a decisive answer. Now, with this, they did. Because it makes sense, right? Naomi was jealous of Jade Cargill. She was jealous of what she has. She was jealous of what she wanted. She wanted to be with Bianca Belair. She wanted to be women's tag team champions. So the story plays itself out. It's just how do you tie it together? That they just drew it out way too long, I think. And I think it was because they could not get Jade medically cleared in time. And so, you know, they had to do it like this. To me, it shouldn't have been this confusing. Like, it was pretty straightforward in my eyes. But hey, I'm Monday morning quarterbacking it. I try to get ahead of these things. I try to predict what WWE is going to do. I try to see 3, 4, 5, sometimes 7 steps ahead of what they're doing, months ahead of where they're going. And, you know, I can be wrong sometimes. But in this case, I feel like I'm right. So let me know in the comments here below. What do you think about this attack? What do you think about this storyline? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say.